Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I am going to do a scrapbook page with you today, and it's kind of a new reboot beginner scrapbooking series. So if you're a beginner, I'd love to know what you think of this video, and if it's helpful, if it's too over your head, if it's too simple, just please let me know. Also, if you're a seasoned scrapbooker and you're watching this, just let me know what you think. If you think I should speed it up, slow it down, or just get out of the scrapbooking game, that's fine too. So this is just the it's a two-page spread. This is the companion page of what I'm going to show you tonight, and just to kind of give you an overview of what we're going to do. And we're going to start by working on the background. So what I have is just I'm going to protect my work surface just with a big scrap piece of paper, and I've got a sheet of craft cardstock. It's Stampin' Up brand, I think. It's just a nice, thick cardstock. It's nice to have sturdier paper that you're going to work on, and I'm just throwing the stencil down here. It's by Oriental Trading, and you could use ink and a sponge or acrylic paint or whatever you want. I wanted to put the star background here because my page is actually a 4th of July page. The photos took place on the 4th of July, but there's really nothing about it that says 4th of July, so I kind of wanted to put the stars on there just to have that connection. And I'm going to set that aside to dry and put my stencil back on the floor, where it will probably collect all sorts of dog hair, but that's alright. So on this page, you'll notice that I collaged my photos. I used iPicky. It's a free app at iPicky.com. It's just some very, very simple photo editing software, and it's great because instead of dealing with 4 photos, I'm dealing with 1. Same thing with the other one. Instead of having 8 photos, I have 1 to deal with. So that really takes a lot of the work out. Now I'm going to use a tag for my journaling. And what I used were these just simple journaling templates. You could actually just use a ruler, but what I did was I just lined this oval one here on my tag because this page is about kayaking, and I just drew it with a pencil and wrote my journaling with a pen, and I decided to do that off camera because I am like the world's slowest, boringest writer, and my handwriting's not even that great. So I thought I'd spare you that. But I had a great comment on one of my Scrapbooking is Dead video, and or is Scrapbooking Dead, and a woman said that she urges people to write with their own handwriting because she found a scrapbook that her father had kept, and it had his handwriting in, and he had passed away quite a while ago, and just that connection was so special. So handwrite. You might not love your handwriting, but someone will appreciate it down the road. So I was just kind of looking. Here's a tip for you. When you're getting ready to make a page, don't look for the perfect paper. Grab the first papers that will work if you're going to use pattern paper, because you can get so overwhelmed with the choices, especially if you've been collecting paper for a while. So just grab the first couple things that'll work. This is from a cheap stack of 180 sheets by Kane Company, and I really like those colors. I thought they were kind of cheerful but kind of vintage, and they wouldn't overwhelm my photos. So the first thing we're going to do is make a title, and I want it to say paddle. And so what I have here are these foam stamps, and I know I was trying to keep my my videos very simple, but then I realized, well, you guys have been watching my videos for a while. You have stuff. So I want you to use your stuff. It doesn't have to be the same stuff as my stuff, but use your stuff, and your layout will be meaningful to you. These stamps are 10 years old. They're by Making Memories. Making Memories isn't even around anymore, but I really love these foam stamps, and I think I got every kind they made, and I'm glad I did because I still grab them and use them all the time. So I'm using ink on a foam stamp. Yes, you can do that. It doesn't have to be paint. I know a lot of us like to use acrylic paint on these, and that's fine too, but ink works really well. And it's funny because the reason I bought this particular set was because Stampin' Up had a set called Lexicon, I think, which was the same alphabet pretty much, but it was like 30 bucks. It was so expensive, and these were on sale for $6. I'm like, sweet. Alright, so now we've got our letter, and I did pre-stamp and pre-cut out all the other letters for the word paddle, but I wanted to show you this technique. Like I said, you don't need fancy cutting tools. An X-Acto knife and a mat works really good. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. When you have to cut out a letter, you want to go on the inside first and cut the middle out while you still have plenty of room to hang on to, and I like to leave a little border, but that's completely up to you. And also pulling the blade towards yourself and moving the paper if you need to will help you. And I didn't get a perfect border, but you know what, when you buy letter stickers, they usually are a little off, like as you when you're looking at them on the package, the laser cuts or die cuts are rarely spot on, so it's just gonna look like some stickers that you bought, which is probably the look you're going for. And I think stamping on pattern paper, especially when you have a simple stamp like that, just looks really cool and kind of I don't know, high-end. Yeah, that's kind of what you'd see if you were spending big bucks. So I've got these already laid out. So we've got the word paddle, and and this is a great technique for using your scraps, because you can just use tiny little bits of paper and stamp out your letters. And you know, especially if you have some paper you absolutely love, instead of hoarding it, you can use it. So I think that's a really great tip. And so let's see if our background is dry. I really like to get the background out right off the bat. Oh, these kayaks, these are, I stamped these to use as an embellishment. This is from Local King, one of the stamp sets they just sent me, because they're awfully nice people. And I stamped on glossy cardstock, so I'll show you that real quick, because I'm using a technique called rock and roll, baby. It's a technique I actually learned at a Stampin' Up party many moons ago. And now I'm wishing I stayed zoomed in. I can zoom in again, I guess. And what we're going to do is ink our stamp up with a couple shades of ink. So you could use, if you don't have any stamp pads, but you have stamps you want to get into stamping, then you can always use your markers on this. I am going to use a couple shades of green. So I've got this, and it doesn't matter, you can go with different brands as long as this is the same kind. Like this is Dye Base Green Ink by Whispers. I think that company's out of business too. Gosh, I bet we're going to go through here and most of the companies I'm using are going to be out of business. It's awful. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of rocking the stamp pad just on the edge of the stamp, so it's going to give me a two-toned image. So it's kind of like I got shading done already, and that works great on these solid kind of shadow stamps. It really saves a lot of work. So I'm just going to stamp that right down here. And I'm on glossy cardstock, not photo paper. You can do this on photo paper, just pick it up quickly. Don't let it linger or it will stick to your stamp. And it just gives you kind of a cool look. You can see how detailed and how well that stamps. But I've already got those cut out, so yay for me, that's done. I'm gonna grab my background page, which I think is pretty well dry, and just kind of zap it with my heat tool, just to be sure. And hopefully not lose any of these things that I've painstakingly cut out, because that would just be my way. So why don't I hit this with a heat gun, and then we'll come back and put our page together. And we're zoomed out. Magical, the magic of YouTube. All right, I'm gonna put my my photo block there. I'm gonna put my tag there. I'm just trying to lay things out to figure out exactly how I want everything to go. Most of my supplies are older, and I'm fine with that. You can, find very similar supplies if you're looking for that. I like to lay everything out. So I want the word paddle here, P-A-D-D-L-E, which I had to look up because I wasn't sure if it was E-L or L-E. I'm really bad at E-L and L-E words. I don't know why. All right. And then the fun part is the embellishing, I think. I like to use all the different... I like to look through my stash and see what I have for stamps, see what I have for other stuff. You know what I think might be kind of cool if I actually stamped on this instead of layering that. So why don't we do that? I feel like I'd like that kayak on there, but I think maybe in red. So why don't I clean off my stamp? That's the thing about scrapbooking. I change my mind and I go in a whole different direction. It takes me way longer than I think it's going to. So I'm using actually a rose color, and then I'm going to rock the edges in the red. And I'm going to throw a little scrap underneath. Oh, that was fairly scary sounding. I'm just going to stamp that right on the tag. And the nice thing about stamping directly on a tag is you don't have to worry too badly. If you mess it up, it's just a tag. You're only out the couple of minutes you put your handwriting in there. It's not a big deal. Put the stamp pad out of the way. Alright, so we got that there. Just basically laying everything out, figuring where I want everything to go before I start gluing down. Because once you start adhering, then you've kind of made your mind up. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going here. And I am going to start adhering, and I have just a dry adhesive for my photos, and this is actually brand new. It's a Tombow Extreme, and the Tombow company asked me if I wanted to try it out, and I said, oh sure, what the heck, free stuff, why not? It does work pretty well. You do have to flick it to the side when you lift up, otherwise you'll get this big old glue booger that doesn't want to let go, and that's unfortunate. That's no fun. So remember the little side flick when you do that. They warned me about it. I would never have figured that out on my own. I would have had a nightmare. I would have had glue boogers all over the place. Alright, so I really like that there, and I kind of keep, like, I have like a little you know, okay, I'm kind of a hoarder. Not really a hoarder because I do use my stuff, but when I find something I really like, then I'm very stingy with it. And I have some Bo Bunny camping paper, and I have some Can Company licensed Girl Scout and Boy Scout stuff, and I am so stingy with that. But I mean, like, I saved a little scrap of paper because it had that little tent on it. It really pays to be stingy sometimes because you know, in using all those scraps, you'll figure out a way to use it. And those little chipboard pieces came from this that was given to me. It's Old Can Company Kazoo Kids, which is probably older than the hills. And I'm going to glue it down just with a little fine tip wet glue. I'm going to do the word paddle. And here's a tip for getting your letters straight. So what I'm going to do is put my my ruler, figure out exactly where I want to have it. Actually, I can line this right up on one of these grids here. So the cutting mat, the gridded cutting mat, is useful in many ways, and I'm just going to line that right up to one of those grids. And so I know that, because the paper's on a grid and the ruler's on a grid, so I know that if I glue these down, they're going to be straight. Not that you really have to fuss about that too much. You don't, you know, if you don't care if it's straight or not, you can have it askew. That's easy too, but I'm trying to give as many tips as I can cram into one 20-minute video. So I'd love to know if you're a beginner scrapbooker, if you're just curious, if you've been scrapbooking for a long time, if you don't give a hoot about scrapbooking, but you just love my videos, so you're watching it anyway, or what your story is. I think that scrapbooking introduced many women back into crafting that, you know, maybe didn't feel creative, and it gave them an excuse to be creative. And it's funny because while I was doing these pages, while I was doing the other one and preparing to do this one, I had, if I had waited like till next year, I would not have remembered that these photos were taken on the 4th of July. And I wouldn't have remembered about the dock collapsing while the kids were all out there fooling around on it. Or the fact that the boys played so well with the girls and helped them catch frogs and everything. You know, all those little details I would have forgotten about. And I have to say, I regret that I didn't get any pictures of the adults. And I mean, we had a great time. We were all hanging out. The kids were just, I mean, they're at the age where they're very self-contained. They all play so well together. And we were just hanging out, shooting the breeze. I got no pictures of us adults, and it was a really fun day, and I regret that. So, you know, I think that's kind of a lesson. You know, take pictures of yourselves too. It's not all about the kids. I'm going to use a Stry adhesive because I'm going right on top of photos. Oh, see what I mean about the glue boogers? I didn't pull it to the side, so I got a glue booger there. Not a big deal. But just so you know, I usually have really bad luck with glue runners, so I'm pretty thrilled that I could use this. In fact, Tombow has this new thing called Sticky University, and they asked me if I wanted to enroll in Sticky University. It was free, and I'd get some product. Ah, what the heck? I could always use to learn a thing or two. And they sent me a t-shirt, and they sent me this, and they're like, you probably want to go look at the video. Apparently they knew what they were getting into when they asked me if I wanted to do this. Yeah, you better go. We know likes you, Lindsay. You need to go look at the video. You're gonna have that glue boogered up before anything else. Alright, and since they were catching frogs, I thought I'd put a little frog in there. I'm still kind of playing with that. I think I might put that up there because I've got a 1, 2, 3 cluster there. I think I'm gonna leave that like that and put this up there. And this multi-glue, I don't want, you know, the thing is I don't want this to seem like a commercial or to have you feel like you need to go and buy a bunch of things to do this. So I apologize if that's how it sounds at any point, but this multi-glue is for different surfaces like cork and fabric and all sorts of things we like to scrapbook with, so I hope it's I hope it works out really well for me and for anybody else that is encouraged to try it. I know I do mention products from time to time, and I do mention companies because some companies are very generous and they've sent me stuff, and if I think it's good stuff, then I'll tell you about it. And flick to the side. Have a little dance before I'm done. Alright. I do like these kayaks. I like a little pile of kayaks here. I might regret that. Actually, you know what? I rarely regret anything I do on a page, and I know sometimes you don't want to be too trendy because you're thinking, well, I'm gonna look back and that's gonna look so cheesy, but I totally embrace the cheese because sometimes I will I'll look back at a layout and I'll just, yes, the supplies are dated, and yes, I was, you know, maybe I did some like technique that was really popular at the time, and but I will just look back fondly because I'll remember when I made the page, like probably at a crop, hanging out with the ladies, and you know, I never redo a page. I know some people redo a page or they apologize when you're looking through their album, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing back then. Don't apologize for your pages. For goodness sake, you made them. It's part of your journey as a crafter. It's part of your journey as a person, how you chose to document your life. Never apologize. And never apologize for taking the time to preserve your memories. I know some people feel a little, I don't know exactly what the word is, maybe a little embarrassed, or they feel judged maybe because they choose to do this hobby, or feel like people think they're wasting their time. I don't believe that. I think most people wish they could get their butts off and butts away from the TV and scrapbook or do something meaningful like this. So never let anybody make you feel like you shouldn't be spending your time however you want to, whether it's crafting or whether it's scrapbooking or painting or whatever. So here are the two pages together, and I want to share a couple other little tips here. So I wanted, because I totally forgot about the dock that was collapsing and it was taking on water because too many kids are on it fooling around, and then I'm looking at the photos, I'm like, oh, you could totally see where the dock is capsizing. And I'm like, oh, I need an arrow chipboard. Of course I had no arrow chipboards, but what I did have was some chipboard stickers. I had some leftover middles to A's. So that's what I used to make these little arrows. So I don't know if it's completely effective, but I do think the triangle does kind of bring your eye to the capsizing dock. And it was just luck that I happened to find these old chipboard words from a pack that was given to me from a friend. And, you know, I just love the way it all came together. It's not gonna win any awards, it's not gonna get published, but it's fun, and I'm happy with it. It's gonna go in my scrapbook, and my kids are gonna love looking at it, and they're gonna remember the day. And darn it, I wish I took some pictures of us adults, because I was looking exceptionally cute that day, and so were all my friends. So that, I do regret that, but oh, and this right here, this is a little library stamp, so it's a great way to add a little date. This one was made by Smash. It was like $3 or something. It was cheap, but if you have a library stamp, you can totally use that too. You know, just use what you have. You know, look around your house, get some ideas, incorporate other hobbies you have, because they'll be more meaningful to you. If you're a seamstress and you're using sewing on your pages, if you're a cake decorator and, I don't know, maybe you put some spackle in a cake decorating tube and do some texture paste, I don't know. However you're inspired to interject your personality on your pages. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I guess you can give me a thumbs down if you didn't. You probably wouldn't still be here if you didn't. And please let me know what you think about this scrapbooking tutorial. If you like more, if you want more like it, if it's too complex, if it's too simple, just let me know. And I can, you know, put some forth that can give you what you want, hopefully. I don't know, I'll try. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.